Hello and welcome to Business Daily. It's Buddha's birthday today here in Seoul, and I'm Lee Ji-yoon. Before we get started, let's first take a look at today's highlights. We take an in-depth look at what came out of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Korea last week. The number of home transactions in the capital reached a 7-year high in April, but lagging behind is the hike in value. Look forward to these stories and more. Korea's trade minister has expressed regret about a recent complaint that Japan launched with the World Trade Organization over Seoul's ban on some of its fisheries products. The Trade Ministry says Minister Yoon Sang-jik and his Japanese counterpart Yoichi Miyazawa met on the margins of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting in the Philippines to discuss the issue. Now, Japan claims Korea's ban on marine goods from 8 of its prefectures, including Fukushima, which was the site of a nuclear disaster in 2011, violates a WTO agreement. Seoul maintains the restrictions are necessary for food safety. The two countries have 60 days to resolve the issue through bilateral talks before the trade body adjudicates on the issue. Koreans have been spending more on durable goods but remain reluctant to loosen their purse strings for leisure activities. This is according to credit card expenditure records compiled by the Bank of Korea. In the case of spending on furniture, Koreans splurged around $110 million in February, up 35% on year. Spending on electronic goods and domestic cars also went up by single digits in January and February compared to a year ago. But experts say it's still too early to say consumption is back on track, as credit card usage for recreational activities has yet to regain momentum. Even as Korea's big 3 mobile carriers rolled out new data-centric billing plans recently, their order of market dominance looks to remain unchanged. Over the past decade, SK Telecom has held roughly 50% of Korea's market share, followed by KT at about 30% and LG U+ at under 20%. Earlier, there was speculation that KT would overtake SK after introducing the country's first data-based plan tied to unlimited voice and text messaging services. But its competitors followed suit, leaving the existing order mostly intact. Korea's struggling housing sector is showing signs of recovery, with the number of transactions in Seoul reaching a 7-year high last month. But curiously, it's not exactly raising the value of homes as in years past. Our Eunice Kim tells us why.
An apartment complex in Seoul's Nowon-gu district. For its comparatively affordable price and pleasant ambiance, it's been popular among new residents. Last year, apartment sales in Nowon-gu, including those at this complex, exceeded 8,600 transactions, the most of any district in Seoul, and a nearly 30% jump from 2 years earlier. But despite the demand, the increase in prices did not keep up.
Basically, we're seeing properties that haven't been selling actually selling, but the hike in sales volume did not translate into a hike in value.
It's a trend that's not limited to this part of Seoul. Korea's lagging property market finally saw its home sales volume eclipse the 1 million mark last year for the first time in 8 years. But unlike conditions in 2006, when property prices leapt 11% with the surge in demand, in 2014 the difference stopped at 1.7%. Experts say this is a reflection of the shifting ways Koreans view home ownership. If it was a source of pride in the late 90s when double-digit interest rates drove in buyers seeking handsome returns from lump-sum jeonse deposits, the buyers now aren't looking for the next best investment. They're looking for a place to live. Where their properties are being snatched up is also diffusing, from the hotspot of Seoul's capital region to other parts of the country. The housing supply has also grown.
We are projecting we will have about 1.2 million housing transactions this year. The rise in prices, though, will probably be in the 3% range, much lower than what we've seen in the past.
While Korea's property market may be picking up again, there are warning signs too, as the country's aging population looks to other ways to grow their money, and the young, faced with jeonse rental prices nearly equaling the value of the home, are nudged toward buying their own home, even if it's on borrowed money. Eunice Kim, Business Daily.
And as we just heard, more young people are looking to buy homes, taking up a larger slice of the pie in home ownership. Seeing this trend, big construction companies here in Korea have also been putting out more housing units that suit the taste of the younger generation. Our Lee Ju-young has more on this story.
This is a model house in the greater area of Seoul. The venue is filled with potential home buyers, but the age range of those here is much younger than what it used to be. This scene represents a growing trend in the real estate market, noted by a recent survey of about 10,000 people who landed housing allotments. In the month of April, almost 40% of potential homeowners were people in their 30s. They are slowly catching up with people in their 40s and 50s who have in the past been behind a large proportion of homeownership deals.
I never thought the lump sum jeonse deposit rate would go up this high, so I want to use this opportunity to buy a house.
Like Cho, many people are swarming in to snatch up homes as the price of hefty jeonse deposits that free tenants of monthly rent burdens have been skyrocketing. Also now, with the record low interest rates, people are turning to mortgages rather than going with the option of paying monthly rent. Big builders are also looking to capitalize on this trend, switching up designs and putting out more small and medium-sized units.
As more people in their 30s are applying for home ownership, we're designing units that will suit the taste of homemakers and provide better safety for children.
Faced with this growing population of young homebuyers, experts do caution ballooning mortgages may pose risks to the financial stability of such households, potentially creating a larger pool of house-poor individuals. Lee Ju-young, Business Daily.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Korea last week produced a number of achievements for both Korea and India. While Modi's trip focused on securing investment for his country, Korean companies are also given a chance to seek expanding business opportunities in India. To tell us more about this, Arirang's Kim Min-ji joined us this morning. Welcome, Min-ji.
Morning to you.
All right, so this was Prime Minister's last leg of his trip to Asia. Was his trip a success in your point of view?
It seems to have been. Prime Minister Modi said the trip to Korea, he described it as very important, and it comes at a time of renewed momentum in the Indian economy. He views Seoul as a crucial partner in his economic development drive, especially because India has great interest in some of Korea's key sectors. Korea and India have agreed to elevate their relationship to a special strategic partnership. As part of their efforts to broaden their ties, they've laid out several ways to boost their cooperation, including holding an annual summit and having meetings focusing on defense and foreign affairs.
모디 총리님과 저는 오늘 양국 관계의 새로운 장을 열어나갈 한인도 특별 전략적 동반자 관계를 위한 공동 성명을 채택하게 되었음을 기쁘게 생각합니다.
On the trade front, the two countries agreed to revise their bilateral trade pact by June of next year. In 2014, trade between the two amounted to $18 billion, far less than a $40 billion target set for this year. The deal, a comprehensive economic partnership agreement that covers services, investment, and other issues, was implemented in 2010. The revised pact will give Korean products a more equal standing against its rivals in the Indian market. Seoul also agreed to set aside $10 billion to support Korean companies participating in India's infrastructure projects and inked a handful of agreements ranging from preventing double taxation to bolstering cooperation in renewable energy.
Well, that's a lot of deals there that the both countries stamped on. But I heard Korean business people are also led into the action.
Yes, the forum involving around 300 business people from both countries took place on the second day of Modi's visit. There, Modi encouraged Korean companies to invest more in India as it strives to become a global manufacturing sector through its Make in India campaign.
We can join hands in the mutual benefit of our people and industry.
Modi also had one-on-one meetings with the chiefs of Korean conglomerates to discuss investment projects and other business issues. To mention one, Modi said his government would help Korea's largest car maker, Hyundai Motor, strengthen its presence in the Indian market. Hyundai aims to sell 465,000 vehicles in India this year, and that's up 13% from the year before. The automaker is also considering building a third plant in India. Modi also made a site visit to Hyundai Heavy Industries, the world's largest shipbuilder in the southern city of Ulsan. Boosting the industry is part of the Make in India campaign, which seeks to expand the country's manufacturing sector.
All right, so Korean companies are really looking to break into India, which is the world's second most populous market. But what kind of potential are we actually talking about here?
Well, the IMF expects Asia's third largest economy to grow 7.5% this year, and that means India is on track to overtaking China's growth rate. Now, spearheaded by Modi's economic reforms, the country has been doing better, driven by measures that aim to attract investment to the manufacturing and infrastructure sectors. When Modi took office a year ago, inflation was running at nearly 10%, and economic growth had slowed to less than 5%. Now, the country is growing faster and inflation is about at 5%. While he was here in Korea, Modi also stressed that his government is working to make India an easy place to do business for foreign companies, calling it a land of potential.
Well, considering all the factors, let's look forward to what kind of more opportunities that India could provide for our country. Thank you for coming in today, Minji.
You're welcome.
All right, that'll do it for now, but we'll be back tomorrow with more business news that matters to you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.